Hey kids, good morning. How's everybody this morning? Well, we are eastbound and down once again. We are on the boat, we are heading east. Everything seems to be running beautifully, engine's running good. Boat started right up after being there on the dock for 2 days. I feel well rested. I feel antsy actually. Did something to my shoulder, I don't know what, but it's feeling good. And yeah, we're heading east. So I'm just leaving Amsterdam. There's Amsterdam right there. Just literally got the boat started and turned around, headed back east, and pulling out of the harbor now, making track. So I hope today to get to Schenectady, Schenectady, or the lock or the town down from that one. That's kind of where my goal is today, is to get that far. And then I got to start really getting serious on getting some jobs done. I'm going to be very close to getting to Troy, where I'm going to be at the yacht club there, and I got to get someplace on a dock where I can get my nose of the boat in so I can work on the wiring for the mast and get that done. So that's the only thing that I really need to make sure I get done before I put the mast up, as I got to work on the wiring. So I got to check the wiring and make sure I've got good continuity and all that, because when we put it up before down in Sandusky, my mast light, so my anchor light and my floodlights on the deck, none of those would work. So somewhere in the wiring and the connections, there's a bad connection. So I'm going to have to run that down. So I'm hoping tonight to stop there at the lock, or possibly make it into the town, and just go from there. So anyhow, that's kind of what our plan is for today. We're heading east. Hopefully we'll make some good miles. Getting an early start this morning. The sun's not quite up. Wind is blowing. Wind is going to be an issue today, especially at the locks. Fortunately, it's on my back. The other day I had wind on the bow, and that's very difficult when you're single handling going through the locks, because it wants the bow to kick off the wall and get sideways and squirrely in the lock. Here it's on my stern. Of course, depending on how the river twists and turns, hopefully it'll be on my stern at all these locks that I'm coming up to. Otherwise, it's going to be some rough handling in the locks today, fighting this wind. So anyhow, looking at my markers, there's a kind of an odd shaped buoy coming up. As you're heading downstream, you have your green cans, which are can-shaped buoys, you want to keep those over to your right. And then over to your left, you want to keep the red bell-shaped buoys. They're supposed to be shaped like a bell, some of them more or less than others, on your left. If I was heading upstream, meaning coming back into the harbor, or running upstream, I would have it just to the right. I would have what they call red right returning. You have the red buoys on the right side as you're returning. But I have up here, see, there's a green can right there. That's what a green can looks like. But I have sort of a weird, maybe it's not a buoy, maybe it's just a log floating in the water. There's something up here, kind of looks like a buoy sticking up, but maybe it's just a log sticking out of the water, because it kind of had a little bit of a bell shape to it, but it's a short bell, if it is a bell. I kind of have the sun in my eyes, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm using the mast to kind of shade me. No, it's just a log. Okay, now that I'm getting closer, it's just a log sticking up. So big old log. Boy, I'm glad I didn't hit that. Let me see if I can show that to you. Can you see that log sticking up? That tree, that piece of tree sticking up there? Boy, that'd ruin your day if you ran into that, wouldn't it? Got some Yahoo coming up the river right now. Yes, river, I'm saying, because this is the Mohawk River now. Yes, it's still the Erie Canal, but we're actually in the Mohawk River at the moment. Got some Yahoo coming up the river, throwing one hell of a wake. I hope he'll be polite enough to slow down as he goes by me. Big cabin cruiser, but a lot of these guys on these big boats, they they just, I don't, you know, they have an attitude, some of them. They really do. They have an attitude. Well, just this morning I was on the dock, and I went down the dock to go get water, fill my water jugs, and all these guys are down there with their $1 million plus, you know, 30, 40 foot boats. And you know, they see me on my little Pitland sailboat, and they just sort of turn their nose up at me like I'm no good or something. So here's the guy. I don't know if I can get this with the sun shining at this angle. Can you see that? Anyhow, there he is going by, and yes, he did slow down. So I'm going to turn now and run into his wake. See what I'm doing? I'm turning the boat, trying to get a better angle on hitting the wake from his boat. There we go. And that makes it nice and gentle and not too rough. So here on the Mohawk River, there's lots of islands and stuff. It's much wider than what I was on in the canal earlier. Although, as I understand, as I get over here to the last 5 locks, 5 or 6 locks, it gets really narrow again. So, but I don't think I'll be doing that today. I should be doing that tomorrow. In fact, I'm hoping tonight to stage at the lock just right above them, if at all possible tonight. Doesn't cost anything to stay at the lock there, and then I'll be in a position then tomorrow to hit the staircase, as they call it. It's like a 165-foot drop over 5 locks at a distance of about a mile or a little less. So it's just going to be lock after lock after lock after lock after lock. I'll try to live stream that tomorrow if I can. I'll have to make sure I set up my phone with lots of battery, because it's going to take a while. But woo, big wind coming up behind me, man, just pushing me along here. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Just wanted to let everybody know we're alive and well, doing great, sailing down the Erie Canal, well, motoring anyway. And we'll have more for you guys this evening when I get to my destination. I don't think I missed anything in the commented at all. Don't have to worry about that. We'll just have more for you guys later. Be good, be careful. See you, guys.